Hi, I'm Charles Barr, and I'm a school social worker at an elementary school. I'm actually sitting here in my office after hours, thinking about all the cool things that school social workers do. We help students with a variety of abilities and disabilities. We write assessments, we create behavior plans, we create data collection strategies. We do a lot. And I'm thinking about just how much of that goes unnoticed. Not just by teachers, some teachers are aware, not just by administrators, because some are aware too, but just overall. I don't know how many times you've been confused with the school psychologist or with the school counselor, but I know that I have. And it just strikes me as interesting that the lack of a media source for school social workers makes us live in that gray world of support staff. My idea is to create 2 media supports to school social workers. The first would be a website that would support the second media source, a podcast. So the podcast would focus specifically on school social workers, and we would do interviews with politicians, teachers, parents, principals, new curriculum representatives. Anything that was pertinent to educating or advocating or even spotlighting the awesome work that school social workers do. That's what the podcast would be about. The website would be a place where social workers and the like would be able to go on a message board and contribute, whether that be ask questions that would be addressed in the podcast. That's how those 2 media sources would support each other. The name of the podcast would be School Social Work Matters, because that would be our focus. So, if you're interested in creating a media source for school social workers to wake up maybe one morning and to listen to a podcast on the way to work that addresses your specific concerns, then consider donating to School Social Work Matters podcast. Right now we have 3 types of rewards that can be earned. Through $10 would be a shout out. Through $40 would be a research question, something that would be addressed inside the podcast, and it wouldn't be something just brushed over. We would do our due diligence to research the topic and to discuss it. And then also there's the $100 special guest. And so if there were a $100 pledge, I would bring you on and first of all thank you for helping get the podcast off the ground. And we would also create some discussion time for some things that you're interested in. So the total goal for our Kickstarter is $1,800, and that's a lot for one person, hence the video and the website. But $1,800 gets us podcast equipment and a website to be run for a year. I have the entire budget broken down that will be available for anyone who wants to see it. So thank you in advance for any type of support that you give. The way that I see it, any support that you give is also supporting your career in creating a stronger foundation for school social workers to speak up for themselves and be able to share this with other people. Lastly, my big goal as the host of School Social Work Matters would to have this podcast to be streamed through iTunes. That way, not only could you listen to it at work, but we would be able to share this with principals and teachers and admin to be able to validate some of our perspectives. Thank you in advance. Goodbye.